thank you so much, sir and ma. That was amazing. But this part, a lot of people are looking forward to this, and I am looking forward to this as well. So we're going to start some of the questions. I'll categorize them together just to help us move along quickly. We have about 25 minutes. We have about 20 questions so far. So maybe a minute, 1 to 2 minutes per question, depending on what people vote for. All right, so the top question right now that has the most votes. All right, so the one that has the most votes right now, I'll read it to us. It says, how do you forgive your partner that has broken your trust over and over again? And even after forgiving them, how do you not use it against them? Did everybody hear that? Okay. Go ahead, Sir or Ma.
Okay, I think that the real issue here is not just forgiving them, but doing something about it. I would say that you need what we call infidelity recovery. That means both of you need to be with a coach. They work with you through about 8 to 12 sessions. That's what it takes. And it takes anywhere between 6 months and 2 years to be able to work this through. The issue is you've always just said, oh, I forgive you and I let it go, but there's some unpacking that needs to be done. We need to know why this happened, know why it keeps happening. They have to put some accountability measure. We have to deal with you as an individual, some of the things you're going through, and then the person also, what they will be going through guilt and shame, and probably, who knows, maybe it's an addiction that needs to be dealt with. So it's much deeper than just this face value of saying, oh, I've forgiven them and how will I not use it again? Of course, the Spirit of God helps, right? Praying and the Spirit of God helps you, but I think that you need to work with a professional, someone who can help you understand where you are at, why do you feel the need to keep throwing this back in his face. So it's a process. I don't think it's something that you can do on your own.
All right, and you need to redirect your trust. In cases like this where trust is continuously broken, you need some stability in your life, so you need to redirect your trust. Since you know this person always does this, can you trust the Lord? All right? Trust the Lord for that situation. Stop putting your trust on that person for now. All right? Because that's what causes disappointment. You are looking at this person. No. Most likely, if this person is repeating this thing, they are not in quotes. They need help. So it's not somebody you're going to put your trust on. No. At this time, put your trust in God. And really forgive them. Forgiveness doesn't mean it won't hurt. There's no such thing. Forgiveness just means you are releasing the thing to God so that He can compensate you. He can work on it. You are no more holding on to it. So release the person, trust God, and God will start giving you wisdom on how to navigate the thing while you're also seeking help. Because from the question, you need some strength, for this. You can't go this journey by yourself. All right.
Thank you so much, sir. Since we started the Q&A, we went from 20 questions to 29 questions now. So I'm going to batch them together. This one, it's a great question. So this one, I'm going to basically combine 3 questions, okay? All right, so here are the questions. And then just a note before we go on, I know there's a vow renewal thing that we need to display on the screen. So media, you can get that ready so that after this question, can talk about that a little bit, okay? All right, so here are the 3 questions batched together. How do I manage my wife who always complains anytime we want to have sex? How do I manage my need and my wife's hormonal issues? And the person said, I hope you understand, Sha. Okay, so that's that one. And then the question that goes along with that, which we can batch with it, number 2. My husband doesn't understand that sometimes I need peace from him touching my body sexually. Any advice? And then the third one, hopefully I can find it. Okay, so the third one that goes along with that is, how do I make my husband want to be more sexually intimate rather than spend all night with a soccer league video game? Over to you, Ma and Sir.
Some have food but cannot eat. Some can eat but have no food. That's what this is. I'll let Pastor get aside. He answers all the sex questions. I'm too holy for that.
No, but you add to it. Yeah. It's not normal. It's not usual for an adult not to enjoy sex. We're sexual beings by creation. So if you find that, it's just like saying you don't like to eat. All those things are not usual. So if for some reason you are not enjoying sex with your partner, then that is what we need to look at. All right? Why are you not enjoying sex with your partner? Sex is meant to be enjoyed. So from the questions, the first two ones, it sounds like you see it as a disturbance. You still see it as a distraction. It's a major part of bonding for a couple. The sex. Major part. And we talked about needs today. For most men, the physical part of intimacy is a need. So you need to understand that. So we need to investigate why you don't like sex. Is it that your husband is not doing it right, or you've had some experiences in the past making you not enjoy sex? But please, let it be clear. It's not usual for a couple not to enjoy sex. That's not the norm. That is abnormal, if I can use that word. It's not the normal thing. You are meant to enjoy sex, especially with your partner. So if you're not enjoying it, we need to investigate why. Okay? So is the process, are you not enjoying the process? Is he not doing it right? Have you guys had the conversation? Rev, because of sexual issues that are not being addressed in church, we had to start a whole ministry called Wholesome Sexuality, where we have a Christian sexologist helping people. Because these issues, we get it from all over the world. And sometimes when people even go and seek help from the worldly, we knew a couple that went to seek help from the worldly, the therapist told them to introduce BDSM. That's flogging and chaining and all that. So they've been flogging themselves now for a while. So, so we have to start Wholesome Sexualities on Instagram. Please, if you need to reach out to them, let them talk to you. There's a reason why you're not enjoying sex, basically. So we need to investigate that. I will let Pastor M will add to that later. Then for the person playing video game, you need to understand that he also needs help. His brain is being excited by something else. It's probably why he's distracted. Sexual pleasure and all that, they're all in the same part of the brain where cocaine and drugs and other things are. So once there's something stimulating that part of the brain, it becomes difficult for that person to find interest in another thing. So he needs to break that addiction. We need to know why. If your libido is too low, we need to know why. There's a reason. It doesn't just happen. So basically, we can't go into all the details because we don't know the details, but I'm just mentioning some random things that you need to look into. Then before I give Pastor M the mic, if you're a woman and you are not so sexual, and your husband wants sex, same thing with you in case you're the man, there are two kinds of sex. My wife talks about it all the time. You will say it now. She talks about dutiful sex and beautiful sex. I'll let her finish it. Oh, yeah.
Okay, before I get into dutiful sex and beautiful sex, I was also going to say that sometimes it's not always that there's a problem with how he's doing it. Sometimes maybe the woman is tired from doing so much in the day. Okay, so maybe if you help out with a few things, she will have energy. She's doing the dishes, she's cooking, she's doing school runs, she's doing a lot of things. And at the end of the day, she's just tired. All she's thinking about is sleep. If you bring yourself, it's an added to her, it's like added work, right? Even if it's enjoyable. There are times when you are too hungry to eat now. You even have the food in your hand like this and you can sleep off. So maybe she's tired, So you need to find out if there are ways you can help. Ladies, am I right? Because people don't want to say it. I said, let me help you. You people are not looking at me. I thought you'd be encouraging me that you got this. Be encouraging me so I can help you talk. So sometimes I think women are just tired. So that's it. I don't think it's, and a woman is not going to tell you I'm tired, so she can come up with a lot of excuses. She can say she's having a headache. But me, I always say it's not a good excuse because we don't really need your head in the equation. You can just stay there and the man can do the rest. So I think it's better to have the conversation with him and let him know that you are tired. You would rather, he take a few things off, maybe help with the kids, then you can, have sex or whatever. The second person that said something about the gaming and everything. Now, I really wish I had more details, because what I'd like to know is, are you waiting for him to come to you, or he's playing game there and you go there and meet him? But I don't know, there are ways around these things. There are things you will go there and meet him and do that he will not have to answer you, But this, I can see cross everywhere, so I'm respecting myself. Everything I will say. So I'm just saying that there are things, there are things you can do in sitting position. Then for the issue of beautiful and dutiful, your pastor is my pastor's friend. You go and report me. So there are things I have to say I can't say here. Dutiful and beautiful. Beautiful sex is when both of us are in the mood. It's enjoyable. From the door, we are tearing our clothes. We can't get our hands off each other. And then there's time for foreplay and all of that. There's dutiful sex too. Okay, dutiful. When I was preaching, you didn't tell me to put my mic. Now, when we are discussing things, I should say it loud.
Needs to hear this.
Then for dutiful sex, which will happen quite a bit in your marriage, if we're being honest, is when one person is really in the mood and the other person is not. But you understand that you are the only authorized dealer of sex for your husband or your wife. And if you do not have sex with them, you leave them either frustrated or with the temptation of trying to solve their problems in some other ways which will not benefit you. So at that time, you just need to be a big girl or a big boy and do what you need to do. Serve the other. That's what marriage is about. It's no longer about just pleasing the Lord. It's about how you can please your partner. And if your partner needs sex and you're not in the mood, sometimes you just need to. And then the thing about dutiful sex is if you do it right, most times it ends up being beautiful sex. So the people that are complaining about, sex is too much, it's too much, I'm also wondering, do you have orgasms? Some women never do. So it's part of the problem. If you're not enjoying something, then you also don't want to do it. So beautiful sex is when we both want it, we both are happy to do it, there's time for foreplay and everything. And dutiful sex is, you're in the mood, okay, let's do a quickie and I'll just be a good sport about it. And then when you come, we'll just move on with our lives and continue. Everybody's happy. You leave me alone, you're satisfied, I get to do other things. So
and if for any reason you need to talk to a therapist regarding, please do, because somebody mentioned hormonal issues or whatever. Sometimes there's a reason. That's what I'm trying to say. If you don't get help and you just suffering in silence continuously, so you guys should get help professionally if you need to.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. There is a question. Let's round of applause. Round of applause, please. Amazing, amazing. Media, you can display the vow renewal thing when you get a chance. You can display it now, and we'll talk about it right after this question, but you can leave it up there. There's a question that we had at the end of the Insta Live session. It was a teaser question, and so I don't want to leave people hanging. The Insta Live session, for those who missed it, was on Thursday evening. So the question was, and you alluded to this a little bit about the whole BDSM and flogging. So the question, and it's come up quite a bit actually, is how far within the confines of a Christian marriage, right? Both people are children of God and all that. How far can people go in terms of different expressions of sex?
Put the mic in your mouth.
Again, I want to reemphasize that sex is a major need for your partner in marriage. So please, do not use sex as a bargaining tool, a punishment tool. That is very wrong. We talked about needs today. Meeting your partner's need. If you come with the mindset of serving, a lot of things in marriage will work. If you come with the mindset of giving. So sex is a major need in marriage. So if your partner wants more, find a way to offer them more. And even if you need to turn them down, all right, like my wife always says, if you turn them down today, you must be the one to initiate tomorrow or when you are better in the mood, which can be longer than 24 hours or so. That's what she says it. So please don't just leave it hanging. So many times we are the ones tempting the devil, not the devil tempting us. All right? So you need to understand, it's a sense of duty. That's what the Bible says. Offer to your spouse due benevolence. So I have to emphasize that, because I see too many couples going without sex because one person is not showing up. It's a duty. It's part of your duty. If you're eating in that house, then you should be having sex. For many people, sex is a more priority than food. But I see some people so focused on what are we going to eat. The guy can buy food, he can order burger. That is not his concern. The one he's bothered about is the one that only you can give. That's what he's bothered about. Thank you. Thank you. Because people get busy with a lot of other things. I'm trying to cook. No, leave that food on. We can get it from somewhere else. The important thing is the sex. And sometimes it's the woman too that wants sex and the man is not showing up. Please. It's a point of service. You won't always be in the mood. Don't follow how you feel. Now, in terms of limitations, God intentionally left those things out. Not because he forgot. It's because he wants you to explore in your marriage. He doesn't want to put too much limitations. However, there are certain boundaries, of course. Bringing a third party into your bed is no more exclusive, like we mentioned exclusivity. Live to cleave. So you can't bring a third party in terms of a human being or even an object. We don't support that. Now, there are people that have reasons why they think. I've seen even somebody that's supposed to be a Christian saying, oh, they use toys, and sometimes when her husband is not around, she still uses the toys, that he's aware, he doesn't mind. So that's the problem. When you start using third parties, it can replace the need. That's no more intimacy. Because the way God created sex, even if you want to be angry with your partner and you need it, you will make up. But the moment something can replace your partner, if you are not talking, say, hey, we are not talking, that's your business, you will go for somewhere and go and relieve yourself with your toy. So we don't support that. Anything that brings third party into your union, we don't agree with it. That's not no more intimacy. Secondly, anything that brings shame or guilt. Like in the situation where I talked about the Christian couple that they told to start flogging each other, they flogged themselves for 1 or 2 weeks. But after a while, one of them said, it's not just making sense. Maybe the guy can flog too much. The woman ran, or one of them is tired of it. So if it's bringing shame or guilt, it's a problem. Now, there are things like oral sex, for instance. Some people in their mind feel it's dirty, some feel it's okay. So this is what I would say. Be willing to serve. If your partner wants oral sex, for instance, and you don't want, why don't you want? That's what we need to get to. A lot of times it's mental barriers. Either you have religious restrictions or you have psychological restrictions. Again, this way a sexologist will help you. Why don't you want to do it? All right? Remember, it's about service. And anything you give your mind to, the human being is the greatest machine that exists. You are so adaptable if you are willing to give yourself to it. So please serve your partner. So those are the areas I feel there's limitation. We're not into toys. We don't believe in things like anal sex. For us, we don't believe in it. Because it's bringing harm. Anything that is bringing harm, guilt, or shame. We believe there's harm in that. There's uncleanness in that. That's what we believe. But, yes. So, but basically, there's a limit to how much we can impose in your bedroom. That's the honest truth. We're not going to be there with you. So, as long as you don't kill, nobody dies. You don't bring shame or guilt. You don't bring harm to each other. You don't expose yourself to diseases. Really, it's your concern. It's your concern. So that's how we generally answer that question.
Wow! Round of applause! Round of applause! Thank you. So that's an amazing man. We should be charging for this. I'm going to have Pastor Mo actually help me. Pastor Moyo, if you want to help me quickly talk about the vow renewal details. I don't want to mess up any of the details. Sorry to put Pastor Mo. Okay, please clap for Pastor Moyo.
All right, well, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Just real quickly here. So one of the things that happened as we were starting the services, Dr. K began to sense in his heart that there'd be a need for some people who would like to renew their vows, which I believe is very important for us here. One of the things that we believe here is that the program that we have put together is really an opportunity for God to work on marriages in the house. So what we're going to be doing is we have this form that has been created and set up, so you can either use the QR code or you can use the bit.ly link. So it's bit.ly/union rekindled, all lowercase letters, to just fill out an expression of interest form, collect your name, your contact information, and just right after the service, would invite you to meet with us up front here, and we'll take you back to a conference room where we would provide you some additional details on how the vow renewal would happen. And the expectation is that it will happen tomorrow on Sunday, but we would like to provide you some details on how you can prepare for that and how all of that's going to unfold tomorrow. Does that make sense? Yes? Good? Okay. All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Round of applause for Pastor Moyo. Thank you. We're going to move on to the next question. It says, how do you cope with a spouse that can't seem to balance between his or her spirituality and time with the spouse? Balancing between spirituality and time with your spouse.
Okay. The truth is that in life we will constantly juggle life. That's what happens. We generally tell couples that you really don't balance time, you juggle time. There are certain seasons, some things will require more attention. If a woman has a newborn baby, there's no balancing to that. That baby needs attention more than you and needs it all the time. The baby can't fend for itself. So at those seasons, the couple needs to adjust to that season. There's a time when a man is either launching a new business or doing something that involves him traveling. You have to juggle that. All right? So I think as long as you are able to consciously pour into each other, all right, make the most of quality time as opposed to quantity. There are times you might not have quantity, but you need to make it quality. So it's a sign of maturity when you know how to juggle time. And my wife has a way she says it about the glass balls and the plastic balls. So let her continue from there.
Yeah, so, what he was saying was that, we really don't balance time. We kind of juggle time. And I see the different things in our lives as balls. So some things are glass balls, some things are rubber balls. There are some things that if you drop them, they won't break. We can pick them up later. But there are some things that if you drop them, they will break. So for instance, glass balls would be your raising your children, your time with your partner, your spiritual life. Rubber balls maybe cleaning the house, maybe going to visit a friend. There's some things that are not so important that they don't really, nothing really is destroyed if you drop it, right? So you just need to know what's more important per time. That's basically what it is. And be careful, what you drop and what you don't. So it's giving attention to some certain things. I think the question is, how do you balance your spiritual life and your partner? Now, marriage is quite different from a single life. Even the Bible is clear that if you are single, all your attention, your affection, your time, your everything is on how you please God. But God now understands when you're married that you also need time to please your partner. So he says, it's not only going to be about me anymore. There's someone else in your life that requires time. However, I believe that there's a place for giving God priority, right? But then also understanding that you can't be so heavenly minded that you are not of no earthly use. So you need to understand, maybe schedule time. This is where things like scheduling sex, scheduling date nights, those things come into play. Sometimes we think that things just happen. That's why we're saying that you have to be intentional. Sometimes be intentional about planning date night. Put it in the calendar. Put it on the fridge. The same way you put today is football, today is soccer, today is ballet. You know how you put all those things and put it on the fridge? Put date night in. Have a code for sex and put it there. Whatever. So anytime somebody, sorry, your children, code do. Code. So that, anytime you remember that, today is the day, you start adjusting your mind. Today we're having conversations, or today is a prayer day. Like, let me give you an example. When we, and then, this question shouldn't take this long. But when we first got married, I had this notion, or rather this belief, that since I was getting married to a pastor, we'd wake up in the morning, we'll pray together, we'll study the word, he will preach to me, and, we'll just go on with our days. I actually believed it, honestly. And to be fair, to my husband, we're just it's like an owl and a chicken being married. He's a night person, I'm a morning person. 4:30, my eyes are open wide. 4:30 is when he's just going to bed. So we meet each other in the bathroom. We cross each other in the bathroom. I'm going to pee because I just woke up. He's going to pee because he's going to bed. And so we don't have any of those morning. I can't talk to him in the morning. Anything before 11 is not making sense. So we can't have morning devotion. And then late at night, anything you say to me after 9 p.m.
At your own risk.
It's at your risk. I won't remember the conversation. I won't remember making any promise. I won't remember anything. After 9 o'clock, I'm just there. I'm not really there. It's just me, you know. So I had to retrain my mind to say, there are other ways to meet this need. So how do we get the balance? And that's where working with God comes in. This we just said to me, it doesn't have to be morning devotion, it just has to be devotion. It doesn't even have to be every day. As far as you guys have your own separate devotions, what you guys are now coming together to do is a special thing. So we now have to start planning. So we schedule prayer. We schedule studying the word. Yesterday when we were on the plane, was when I showed him something. I said, I saw this thing in the scripture. It can be that time, because when in the plane, nobody is disturbing us. No children, no nobody, nothing. Except the air hostess comes and we tell her to go away. It's just two of us. You know, we have time, so I can share with him something I studied in the Word. He can share with me something. I can ask him questions. There's something you preached the other day. Are you sure? See what I don't know. You know, we can talk about it. So we had to come up with those times. And I also noticed something about my husband. My husband doesn't like anything that is, what do you call that thing? Regimented. Just like anything. So if I say every Monday we are going to pray, next you do it 3 weeks. The fourth week, something will just come up. So this just said to me, don't book those kind of times where you say, you know how women do, I want to talk to you. Don't do it, women. It doesn't work. Just talk when you see them. So I'll just lie down in the middle of a movie, something, I'll just pause it and just say, in Jesus' name. Don't say amen, sir. Maybe it's Jesus. And then I'll just say, let's just go ahead and thank God. I will just pray 30 minutes, you know. And then sometimes in that 30 minutes, he's now getting into it. And I'm saying, hey, correct, let's do this. And then after that, I'll just pause the movie and he'll watch it and I will sleep off because I don't, you know. So my point is, you have to find what works. That's what real intimacy is. Understanding each other. You know, you move a bit, I move a bit. I'm uncomfortable, you make me more comfortable. You're uncomfortable. You know, we talk, we're friends. I'm not out to get you. We're together in this. So if I feel that, oh, you are being, in quotes, and what if you're even calling spiritual time? God wants you to spend time with your partner too. So that thing you are doing, it may not even be for God. It may be to make yourself feel self-righteous. Well, I'm praying 24 hours. If you pray 10 hours, it's okay. If you even pray 10 minutes, God has heard you. Go and answer your spouse, then go back and continue. Because I don't even think your partner requires 24 hours either.
Wow. We are out of time. I believe that we will create another opportunity. I mean, I think we got through maybe half of the questions. Yes, and there's
but please, I want to recommend, for all the guys here, there's a book I brought. It's titled How to Make Love to a Woman Without Touching Her. So please, if you're a guy, I really highly recommend that book. It will help you understand how to make love to your wife without touching her. She would like you to touch her, but you need to learn how to get her in the mood. That's what I'm saying. So it's a good book.
Thank you so much, sir. Round of applause, please. That was amazing.